Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud. And this is episode 9, Rampage. Of course, the season is the Dirty 30, XXX Dirty 30. Yet, have we had enough sex on this season to justify 3 X's? To justify typing that in and then, instantly popping up on some government's, they're like, oh my god, XXX. Not even government, no. You just don't want to look that shit up when you're at work or just in public when you're typing that in. XXX, dirty, and they're like, oh really? 30. I'm like, holy shit, you are fucking scum, mister. Vince, what the fuck are you looking up? You know what I mean? And when I try and justify it, they laugh in my face. I'm like, it's MTV Real World versus Road Rules Challenge, and they're like, that's not any better. We wish you were more of a pervert than a fucking trashy TV show loving motherfucker, Because really, it's funny because I ran into someone who could possibly record with me, because as you all know, I'm recording alone. Because my coworkers just seem to fall away like flies. There's scheduling conflicts and whatnot. But yeah, I ran in. I know this person who she's like, hey, I've podcasted before, and I'm willing to podcast again. And she asked me, she's like, what do you podcast about? And it took me like 5 minutes to answer her because I was just so ashamed. And, watching this episode right here would have been a turnoff, I'm sure. I mean, it's just really trashy, Like Camilla does her Camillinator thing. And by the way, I want to take that fucking title away from her because I actually like the Terminator. 1 and 2. Especially 2. 2 is fucking great. Judgment Day, are you kidding me? Arnold Schwarzenegger fucking versus the T-1000. It's amazing, right? And then, obviously... Sarah O'Connor. Sarah O'Connor. Obviously a huge fan of the franchise. Oh, Sarah O'Connor. What am I saying? Oh, no, but yeah, that's a good movie. I like The Terminator. I have warm feelings. But eventually, that franchise did fall off the rails and became pretty bad. So maybe that is appropriate. Maybe, yeah, because Camilla fell off the goddamn rails, personally. And for me as a fan, I'm just like, I can't stand the bitch. And I really don't mean to just say that. But, these are hot takes. And I'm like, you know what? She is somehow a veteran, somehow, with the term, with the label veteran comes seniority? Yeah. But also, it also says that you're a star. And that's the sad thing about this whole scenario with Camilla anyways. I'm like, no, who was a better star? Was Veronica. Veronica, yes. And she's on the show, but you know what? She's not doing any of this shit. And this is what fucking sells, at least in the producer's eyes, this whole Camilla thing. But yeah, getting back to the fucking point, it's just Camilla all over the place. And when you have a Camilla episode, almost everyone knows that it's just going to be cringeworthy. It's going to be like just embarrassing. And then you're also sitting there and you're like, you know what? This is her highlight reel shit. Camilla is in every season. Despite having a highlight reel of her just going berserk on people, upsetting people, annoying people, embarrassing herself, getting kicked out because of her rash behavior, and fucking obviously alcoholism. But she's here every season, and this is what the producers want. This is why I'm not so eager to say, like, please tune in this season. It's called the XXX Dirty 30 on MTV, and these people are these shady ass people, these pieces of shit are actually being forced to become even dirtier by the producers, who allow Camilla to return year after year after year. And actually, it's interesting. There was a article from stopbeingpolite.com, and it was just like, should Camilla been kicked out and stuff? And in the article listed all these other scenarios where Camilla was kicked out, where, you know, people who brought up the, you know, used the race card against someone or whatever, and that resulted in a huge uproar in the house and stuff. And but, you know, for me, I'm just like, hey, listen, this show, like, they called the title of their show The Dirty 30, because this is what the producers want. They've made up their fucking mind. They're like, no, we are the most twisted, evil fucking reality show you'll ever be on and stuff. And they want to hang their hat on that. You know, they want that title, you know, on their with their name card. It's fucking weird. Their fucking calling card. And they're succeeding. You know, brilliantly cast. Camilla totally belongs on this season because of the theme. If you're gonna be, you know, not everyone is on here because of that. You know, you just had to. The producers were like, we need 30 goddamn people. They didn't even get that. They never had 30. I mean, especially at the beginning, it was 29. Wait, yeah. Did they ever have 30? Yeah, because I think Brianna walked in with CT, and then because CT was gone, and then Ashley was gone right after that. So yeah, I guess they eventually had 30. But I don't know what I'm getting at. The show isn't the best. Look at all this time I've been talking just to avoid actually talking about the show. But you know what? Here, I'll say my favorite parts. Leroy was great. Usually I dog on him for being such a... I don't think he can win. And I don't think he will win. I don't think he'll win this season. I know he can win eliminations. I know he could win the hearts of viewers and players and producers and hosts alike. But I just don't think he's going to win. He doesn't have that killer instinct. He's too laid back. And, you know, I'm saying all this stuff, but, you know, the guy's cool. Like, I do like him. And he had a moment in this episode when he was dealing with Camilla and her bringing up his race, and he's like, that is brought up every day of my life, you know? And yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is. You know, I'm not fucking white. My race is brought up to me not that often, but it is brought up in really weird moments where you're like, really? Like, what year is this? Like, what? Why would you open with that? Who gives a shit? Like, you know, even with friends, sometimes they're just like, oh, this is my Indian friend. I'm like, I'm not fucking Indian, motherfucker. I'm Native American, you piece of shit. And not even that. I would say, like, I'm Ho Chunk. All right? What? You know, walk up to me. My tribe is fucking Ho Chunk. Ooh. People of the big voice. That's what it translates to. And perfectly, a man of the people of the big voice tribe is podcasting. But really, 8 minutes of this has been dedicated to just stalling for time. Anyways, yeah, Leroy was cool, talking about the race thing and just bringing it up where he's like, listen, Camilla could not apologize. She is not capable. She is this is me saying it now, where, you know, Camilla has been stunted, emotionally stunted, mentally stunted, you know, stunted growth, you know, like, I don't think she's gonna fucking ever learn, really, because she was involved with other racial shit before. Remember her and Emily put Nutella on her face, and she was playing Thai, and that was blackface and shit, and Camilla was just like, no, this is fine. I think it's fine. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't fucking matter tonight. Other favorite parts? Nelson versus Hunter. I hate the fact that they're thrown together because they're friends and they're both awesome prospects. But just how it goes down, who wins, and how was just really cool. I was cheering and shit. That stuff moved me. That stuff grabbed me because that was some real shit, you know. Like Leroy saying like some real shit is like, listen, people bring up my race all the fucking time, and and then Nelson and Hunter doing probably the most physical challenge we've seen this season, and just the back and forth in that was real stuff. And Camilla drinking again, it's contrived, it's weird. I want to say, because that's what producers want. Every season Camilla goes Camillinator on people, and she just gets it's weird. It's fucking fucked up. And it's not like she's gonna, spoiler, she's not kicked out. She gets to elect Nelson and Nicole into elimination. But even after all that stuff, she's not going anywhere, guys. She is a fucking product of the show now. You know? She's a veteran. She's just right up there with Bananas. If you think of the challenge, people aren't going to say like, oh, Laurel, right? Laurel. No, they're going to say Camilla, Cara Maria. Those are the two women of the challenge right now. Those are the female stars, if you will. Just like how Bananas and CT are instant stars when you think of the challenge, because they're always on it. You know what I mean? You could also say that with other people, but I was going to say, Wes, man. Wes is a star. And he is. He's just not on this particular season. I don't know what I'm getting at, but let's move on. Oh, no. That means we got to talk about the actual episode. Which is just trash, but well-told trash. I've said this before during the season, and my love has certainly faded for it, especially in the past 3 to 4 episodes. And but I've always said how it's being told is pretty cool. It's fascinating, Like Camilla going on this binge, I'm sure it's sensational. For me, I'm just like, oh my god, I've seen this shit before. Although she's definitely ramping it up, I just don't care. This is something that, again, it's supposed to happen. Every season she's gonna fucking do it, and she's ramping it up. So good for her. I don't know what the fuck. Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, episode 9, Rampage. Oh shit! Only viewed by 650,000 people, and throughout the season, which has not been doing the best, it's been basically on the average 830,000. So a huge dip from 830,000 to 650,000. And I think it's because all the to be continueds. This whole season has been stretched and stretched and stretched. And again, I think people are noticing that the champions, the real competitors here, are not in the eliminations. We're just dealing with the scum and the lowlives and the people that just can't cut it. They're all in the elimination. They're all getting the spotlight of the double cross and throwing those people in and shit. And then we're also cutting away to the goddamn redemption house, where those are losers. Those are the people that failed their eliminations, and they know they get a second chance at they get a second bite at the apple, a second shot back into the house and stuff. It is the most carefree thing you've ever seen. They're on a horse-drawn carriage this episode in the redemption house and shit. Jesus Christ. Let's get on with the episode with about 13 minutes in. So this is just continuing from episode 8, where a drunken hookup with Tony and Camilla on a bus happens. And maybe people are like, oh shit, Tony, you're fucking burning the ultimate bridge, which is a family bridge. You burned 2 bridges because you have 2 kids with 2 different baby mamas. And maybe fans are like, oh Tony, god damn it, like you really turned it around, especially with the redemption elimination. But it's just like I really felt nothing because they fucked up before, and Tony was a father of 2 before then, maybe 1. I don't know. Does it make it worse? Better? Does it soften the blow that he only had 1 kid instead of 2? Like, who cares? It's fucked up because really Tony, he has been eliminated, and now he's back, And not only that, but he's fucking up his own life by just drinking again, hooking up with Camilla, and then he throws in Nelson, who rightfully got rid of him. You know, it's like if I'm Nelson right now, I'm fucking like, hey, this show fucking blows, man. Like this whole people getting redemption and shit. Like, I don't know, I'm getting tired of it and stuff. Yeah, they hook up. Yeah, fucks up his life. Who cares? This is old news. We've seen it before. Camilla, however, she decides to really take the ball and run with it. She's like, she shows up at the house and she's like humping the house. I think she's trying to fuck a pillar or something like that. And then Brittany shows up and she's like, hey, I'll be a whore with you on camera. And they grind it out a little bit. Them and the pillar, so it's like a hot little three-way thing. Let's see here. Oh, and then the whole time Camilla's screaming out dirty 30 and stuff like that. Like, she's fucking gone. But her instincts are still like, I'm on a show where this shit is encouraged. And the show theme is dirty 30, so I might as well be dirty. You know, and that's exactly what she did. And then she goes on to walk in on the dudes just talking about, like, strategy. You know, I think it's Hunter. Hunter's like, oh, and this was a great line from Hunter. He's like, I want to go against people. Yeah, like, he's like, yeah, I want to go against you, Bananas, in your prime. I want to go against CT in his prime. I want to go against Derek in his prime. Why? Because that means I beat the best. You know, like, Hunter is just so full on to himself in the most best way possible. He knows he's just like a physical force of nature, you know? And and he's definitely like the fucking young buck, you know? He's like, God damn it, I'm out to prove myself and shit, you know? Like, watch out, y'all, and stuff. Like, he's just ready to fucking do work and just tear through people. And he doesn't give a shit. Do you think the stare down by CT... the smile of, like, the smirk off of Bananas and, like, the shaking of the head from Derek when he was saying, like, I want to take the three of you on in your prime. Do you think that bothered him at all? No. He was just, like, he was being real. He was like, oh, shit, man, if we could fight right now, I'd fucking love that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure he could. Oh, shit. Right? In like a fucking street fight? Again, this is just, like, trying to not talk about the episode itself. But could Hunter, in a street fight, beat Bananas, beat Derek, beat CT? Yeah, because, you know, Hunter, again, he's like, I want y'all in your prime. And these guys are old, like, they're up there, you know, seasoned veterans, like, over-seasoned, like, way too fucking salty, some of them. But CT's rocking the dad bod. But does that matter? Have you seen a grown-ass gorilla in a zoo? They got that fucking beer gun. You're like, how'd you get that shit, man? And then they sign language you some, and you're like, well, I don't understand sign language. I'm sorry. I had one chance to talk to a gorilla. Wow, this is the funnest thing I've done, just to not talk about the episode itself. Oh, shit. Okay, so, yeah. They're talking about, like, you know, Leroy. He's like, yeah, man, I know what you're saying. Like, everyone looks at everyone and say, like, who's going to take out this guy? Is it going to be me? Like, can I? Whatever, you know? And the same with the girls. Who are going to take out them and shit? And Camilla walks in and she's like, what? Girls? Me? Who? Take me out? Fuck you. And, like, she, like, right away, Leroy's like, no. This is not my scene. This is not your scene. This is not going to happen right now. And he, it was actually pretty sweet. Like, yeah, I still have reservations against Leroy, but he can, you know, he can keep his cool in certain situations, which makes it very enduring for me, you know. But yeah, he was just like, I'm gonna step away. This is nothing. I'm not even gonna engage in anything with you, because they all know the look of Camilla when she's, I don't want to call her a Camilla-nator mode. God damn it. Can we call her something else, like a lesser Universal? Yeah, there we go. She's gonna go Universal Soldier Camilla mode. You know, it wasn't quite Terminator. Or she can't be RoboCop Camilla, Robo Camilla, because that would be a riff on RoboCop. But again, I almost think I like RoboCop way more than I like Terminator 2. Holy shit! Oh shit! Another side question: who in a street fight would win, RoboCop or Terminator? Fuck. All right. But holy shit! So Camilla, though, it doesn't matter. She's fucking drunk as fuck, and she's in her stupid ass mode, Universal Camilla mode, and she starts. Oh shit! What was the chronological order of this? Did she bring out Leroy's race? Bring that up, where she's like, "Oh, you're a black motherfucking pussy" or something like that, you know? And then when she's leaving, Bananas throws the pillow at her, and then she just blows up again, and then gets sent home. Like, which order does that take in? Like, was she just like yelling at Leroy, then about to walk away, gets hit by a pillow, and then thinks it's Leroy or something like that? But either way, she brings up race for no goddamn reason, except that she's racist. That's the real fucking reason. Listen, like, there's racist people out there. Some of them my friends. You know, these are fucking... Oh my god. I don't even know if I want to cut this out or whatever, but literally there's a... Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't say it. Oh my god. There's literally something where I'm like, I'm horrified by this symbol. And it's in the house that I'm in right now. But it turns out it's like a war keepsake or whatever from some American soldier. We'll say this: it's an American soldier's. He's passed on, but yeah, he was in World War II fighting some pretty bad dudes, and he kept a keepsake of theirs, a badge, if you will, whatever you want to call it. And I was just shocked to see it in this house. I was gonna say in my house, but in the place that I reside. And I was like, "What the fuck is that doing in here?" But okay, again, going back to the racism shit. Yeah, like my fucking holy shit! I was watching the McGregor Mayweather fight, and I was shocked how many black jokes there were. You know, but I shouldn't have been shocked. You know, I should have been shocked if any Native American jokes were brought up. Which there was. Holy shit, there was fucking some shit brought up that night. But there was also a lot of, like, black jokes and remarks and shit like that. You know, and like I was saying, I shouldn't have been surprised because there was no black people there. I don't even think any of them have any black friends. But, yeah, it was quite shocking. So what I'm getting at is that, you know, if Leroy's like, oh, I know Camilla's not a racist, well, she kind of is. You know, she brings up that shit because she's fucking drunk. And, you know, a lot of people say the truth comes out when you're drunk. You're fucking right, it is. You know why? Because I'm drunk right now. And I totally stand by everything I've said up to this point. However, if I begin to sober, then I'm like, that's not me, man. Don't listen to that shit. I was fucking playing you guys, man, forever and ever. Alright, let's get back to the fucking point. Oh, shit. But yeah, I just want to emphasize real quick that Bananas, once Camilla said whatever she said, I don't remember the order, but she was ready to walk out of the room. End of story. You know, it could have really been the end of all that. But Bananas takes this moment, once her head is turned, to take his pillow and whip it into the back of her head. This sends her off the fucking rails. She's like, who the fuck did that? Was it you black motherfucking pussy? And something like that, you know? And it's crazy. The fact, you know, she brings up race for no reason, right? And this upsets everyone. As well as it should, you know? PCH and all that shit. But this is throwing gasoline on the fire with Bananas, you know? Why wasn't... Like, that has to be a thing, you know? The instigator, you know? Like, if you're instigating these fights within a house that ends with people getting thrown out, and even, you know, at the very best, maybe they're not thrown out, but they're fucking, you know, ostracized. I want to say ostracized by the fucking house, by politically, socially. Everyone's just like, holy shit, man. Why? I don't understand it. Why? Okay, see, now this is where my enthusiasm completely dips, because now we're actually talking about the episode. Either way, why isn't Bananas getting more shit for starting this fucking fight where Camilla flips out so much so that the security, make her go into a hotel that night? She comes back, and then we have to have this talk about, racial issues and shit or whatever. But, like, hey, Camilla was ready to walk the fucking way. And Bananas, for, like, how many times has he done this? He's fucked with Camilla before. Remember his little poking remark at Camilla in season whatever, X's? Where it's like, you're talking to a brick wall. There was no reason for him to say anything, but he said it, and then that's what set Camilla off, where she throws the chair on the ground, walks into the pool, "You're gonna die" line, that all that shit. That was prodded by Bananas. You have to remember this. Fucking A. And then remember when Tony and Camilla got kicked out of Rivals 3 because Tony was drunk as shit, Camilla was drunk as shit. I know, imagine it. Picture yourself in this, them in that situation. And Tony went to sleep. He went to fucking sleep. He got out of the room before Bananas could throw his pillow. But instead, he sends in Vinny, his fucking bloated ass cousin, to wake up Tony because Camilla's up, being drunk as shit, and says, "Hey, you should calm your partner down." No. That was never gonna fucking end in any good way. At all. And Tony and Camilla got into it. They got kicked out, right? So it's like, how many fucking times are people just gonna, like, forget or look away and blame someone else when it's like Bananas? It's fucking... Oh my god. I was in such an uproar when I was watching this episode. Oh my god. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Camilla returns early in the morning. It is a wonderful scene where it's Leroy and Tony and everyone else, like they're all in this, their room or whatever, and they're just talking about, like, oh my god, how could anyone say that, and, like, whatever. And Camilla shows up and walks, and, again, Tony, Leroy in the same room, and she's like, "Tony, can I talk to you?" And everyone's like, oh my god, like, everyone's just like hitting their fucking forehead, and they're just like, oh, Camilla, no. And instead she's like, "So what happened?" and stuff, and of course Leroy saw this a mile away, and he's like, "No, she's just gonna start crying and shit." But that doesn't fucking happen. That it never even occurs to her to apologize for that. Why? Because she's a fucking racist. All these little things of, like, I remember when Camilla and Emily got in trouble with the X's thing for the blackface incident, and Camilla was like, well, Emily was brought up in, like, Emily was brought up in some sort of cult or something. No, I don't know what it was, but it was like a fenced off community, kind of like The Village. You ever watch The Village? Don't. It's by M. Night Shyamalan, but what am I getting at? Yeah, but then also, so that was her excuse for not knowing that blackface is not cool, But Camilla didn't mind it. In fact, she was just like, "No, I think it'll be fine," because she was like, "Oh, well, I'm foreign. I'm from Brazil, And I feel like Camilla really leans on that to excuse her behavior almost, where it's just like she just doesn't know better, or, you know what I mean? It's really weird. But, okay, so Camilla only talks to Tony. We get to deliberation, and I'm thinking, like, this is the part where TJ's like, "Hey, guess what, Camilla? We heard about what happened last night. You used racially insensitive words, and you also, like, postured, yourself in an intimidating way. I believe she even threw shit, and she shoved people, right? I don't know. But This sounds important to remember, actually. But, yeah, that doesn't happen. TJ never brings it up. Okay? Let's remember that. Because, in a way, he's part of that production, you know? He could have... Oh, shit, this was TJ's time to fucking say, like, hey, that's not cool, yo. But instead, he might as well said, hey, Camilla, I hate quitters. But you didn't quit when you should quit, you know, for fucking being such a horrible person and offending the house and stuff. You know, this was TJ's chance. Everyone's like, oh, TJ's great because he rips on people for quitting. Why doesn't he rip on people for being such a racially charged jerk? Why doesn't he do that? Right? Fuck you, TJ. I don't mean that, but I mean, you know, like it's an interesting question. You know, if you want to step up, TJ, and you want that screen time, you know, like you fucking camera whore that you are, fucking put the passion into really discouraging this behavior that we've seen on the show. You know, this was your chance, TJ. You fucked up, in my eyes. But yeah, it's up to fucking Leroy to bring it up. He's like, hey, how about an apology? Because what you did was, like, not right and shit. And Camilla's like, she gives the fakest apology I've ever fucking heard. Just full of cliches. You know, she's like, oh, well, you know, what did she say? Like, it takes two to tango and stuff. Well, that's the equivalency of what she was saying. Because, again, she was like, I just need to work on myself. I honestly don't remember. You know, like I honestly don't remember. It was just cliche. It was fake as shit because Leroy's like, listen, that was not an apology. But, you know, was I expecting one? Like, and that's when he brings up, he's like, listen, he's like, Camilla's not a racist, but people bring up my race all the time, you know? So it's, I don't know. I hated it. I hated the fact that Camilla got so much screen time. You know, right now I'm just hating this whole fucking thing. And now Camilla gives a fake ass apology, and then she still gets to vote in people into elimination. It's fucked up. She throws in Nicole, her and Tony, who again is another piece of shit. You know what the fuck? So these assholes, they still get power in the house because it's the Dirty 30 and that's what's appropriate now. They throw in Nelson. Tony gets his revenge on Nelson, throws him in there, and then they vote in Nicole. When it comes to elimination, when it comes to the draw, Jordan draws the double cross, and between Hunter and Dario, he sends in Hunter because Dario is not really a threat. I like Dario. I think someone asked me that on a comment once, and I should have said I like him, but I was like, is that even worth commenting? You know, like, whatever. But instead sends in Hunter. Makes sense. That's part of the young group, young bucks that are shooting for the top guys and stuff. And Jordan considers himself an ally with the top guys. I guess Jordan would prefer to go against them himself. I don't know what he's thinking. Why don't you just let Hunter and Nelson go for those top guys? You know what I mean? But instead, he's just like, no, I'm going to be super fucking loyal to these guys. And he sends in Hunter against Nelson. Friend versus friend. And what is it? Oh, Jenna, Tori, Brittany, and Kayla are in the bottom to draw the card. Jenna picks the double cross, sends in Brittany. Spares Tori, spares her friend Kayla. And really, I thought maybe Tori and Jenna would be friends as well. Maybe that's not the case. I feel like maybe it's just because they've been losing together. You know, Tori's been here before at the bottom now, and it's a little bit frustrating because I am rooting for Tori. But yeah, Jenna sends in Brittany versus Nicole. This is Brittany's second elimination. And with this, the elimination, Rampage, you're on top of a mound, and, you know, you're attached to each other in some ways, and you gotta pull each other off. And it's almost very similar to the Redemption Challenge, where, you know, they were throwing each other off the water, and whoever hit the water first was eliminated. But I like this. I liked it. It's because I'm just like, oh, thank God, something physical instead of all this horrible shit with Camilla. Brittany versus Nicole. Nicole, I don't know. This is her second win. I'll just say that she wins the first 2 rounds, and that just sends Nicole home. But what is Nicole really? And really, why is she here? Besides the fact that they needed 30 people, I mean, that's a blood person, a bloodline, you know. Oh yeah, Shane was here too. He was a bloodline. I guess that justifies it. But I mean, that's Nani's bloodline. Ugh, whatever. She's fucking gone, but she's not because there's Redemption House. And then again, the closer is Nelson versus Hunter. I'm emotionally involved in this because I really, really like Nelson, and Hunter is such a huge prospect as well. And I like I like him as well. And the first round, Nelson is like, he's getting there. He's pulling Hunter to his edge, and you're just like, holy shit, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then Hunter reverses it, pulls Nelson all the way back with him, so they fall on their side instead. It was such a pleasant surprise, such a sweet round. And then the second round and third round is won by Nelson. I really don't remember how that went, but it was just a lot of fun. And I know I kind of killed the momentum there of just saying like, well, you know, he won the next 2, but it was cool to watch. And then that was the end of the episode. I don't really know how to feel about it too much because I'm like, well, Hunter, you get to go in the Redemption House, which is really just, oh my gosh, I almost feel like they should put the Redemption House back online. Do you remember Battle of the X's 2? This is where they introduced the whole like redemption. They didn't call it redemption, it was called exile. But they would be off the show, those losers, goddammit, and they would just be reduced to the MTV.com website. And although then I do remember saying that was stupid because, like, well, first of all, I can't really get on the website sometimes, you know, like my internet is shoddy sometimes. I don't know what I'm getting at. But yeah, this is a dumb idea. I hate it. Redemption House. You just see Corey and Anissa flirting and Maria's still lonely. She's like, oh God, they're, you know, when Corey and Anissa got here, I was like I was happy. But now she's just like, it's even worse because now they're just like, oh, they're just eye fucking each other all the time. You know what I mean? And not wearing any contacts. Yeah, they're like, it's a real fucking dirty eye fucking without a contact, boy. Raw dogging it. Alright, so now the episode is falling apart. I'm just saying, you know, for the most part, I listed my favorite parts at the very beginning of the episode, and I should have known that this would just peter out as a podcast. But, you know, stick in there, because I have to, if you care what I have to say about it. Battle of the Challenges podcast with Fitz and Cloud. Like, subscribe, comment, and talk